Hey guys, happy Wednesday. Hope everyone is doing well. I know I am so sick of being at home, but I think I am pulling through it, taking it one day at a time and just hoping for the best that we make it through. So I hope you guys are having an okay time getting through this vacation time, we'll call it, at home, and I hope you guys are surviving and even flourishing. Maybe taking some time to learn some new things, or just taking this time to relax or do whatever is really best for you. So we're going to give it a few minutes here before we get going. And then we're going to go over a topic that we started talking about last week, and I said that we would elaborate on it a little more this week. And we're going to be going over how I get all of my content for not only Instagram, but my YouTube content, Facebook content, wherever you are marketing across your social media or any online platforms that you're marketing on, how you can really make that perfect content that's super suited for you and your brand and your business, and how you can easily create that without having to struggle or try super hard to find awesome content to post. So like always, guys, if you are watching on the Six Figure Stylist Facebook group, because I use a streaming service so I can stream on Facebook and YouTube at the same time, if you want to interact with me throughout this live, you'll just need to click the link in the caption box up top. That just allows my streaming service to have access to your name so I can see who I'm actually typing to or talking to as you guys are typing out comments to me. And if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to check out the link in the description box below after the live has aired, so that way you can come hang out with us on Facebook as well. So if you guys are watching, go ahead and leave me a comment, say what's up, where you're watching from, all that good stuff, and then we will go ahead and get rolling. One more thing I wanted to share before we get started is all of the courses on hairbykate.com. This link right here are 30% off right now with the promo code COVID. So if you are trying to use some of this vacation time to learn some new things, maybe expand and build your business a little bit, there's tons of courses available for you on hairbykate.com, and you can get all of them at 30% off right now with promo code COVID. So make sure you check that out. So like I was saying, last week we went over a really cool topic, and one of the things that we talked about while we were going through last week's live was how I like to bring in models to my salon. So what I wanted to share with you guys this week was how I go about finding my models, what that setup looks like, and how that really benefits me. So first and foremost, hi Facebook user, I can't see your name. So if you will just, God, I can't stop shaking this desk. If you will just click in the link up top so I can see your name, or you can just type your name to me, but I definitely want to chat with you because you're amazing. So either type out your name to me or click the link up top just so I can see who you are. But thanks for hanging out. You're amazing. So the best way that I like to get content for my social media is by bringing in models. And I know you guys probably hate when I do this ghetto pulling up of my phone and attempt to show you my screen. But I'm going to do it anyway. So if you look at my Instagram, I think if I turn my brightness down, we figured out that helps a little. So if you look at my Instagram, I can actually point out to you, this girl is a model. This girl is a model. That's my daughter. Oops. That's my daughter. That's me. That's a mannequin. This girl is a model. My daughter, me, model. So a large portion of my Instagram is coming from me doing these model calls. A lot of what I post are actually my models. And what that does for me is that when I post those things on Instagram, it brings in the type of clients that I want. So all of the other clients that you see in between my model posts are coming from seeing those pictures on my social media, on my Facebook, on my Instagram, whatever platform they are searching on. They're seeing those pictures of the models that I post, and then they're coming in because that bringing in the models has given me that content to use and to really put out there the types of services that I'm so in love with. In my case, that's a lot of vibrant colors, a lot of rainbows, and some blonding here or there, but definitely all color techniques. So it gives me the content to put out there initially for potential clients to see it and then to come into my salon from there. So what I'm going to share with you guys today is how I first got these models and what that setup looks like and how you can start implementing this into your salon, because it is such a game changer in the world of social media and it's just done wonders for me. So I know we had just talked about how it brings in clients for me by doing these model calls, but aside from just bringing in clients, it gives me the most content for use on social media. So right now, we all know, I don't think any of us are in the salon working right now. I'm definitely not in my salon, so I don't have any new content to post other than stuff that I've just been doing on my daughter or myself or my mannequins. So right now what I'm doing is going back and searching through old content that I've done mostly on these models, and I'm able to actually reuse that now. I'm finding a ton of photos, videos that I've never posted. So having so much content just built up is amazing right now, or for any time in your social media career. Just having a storage of content that you haven't used yet will never be a bad thing for you. So it gives you so much to post. You'll never feel like you're out of things to post, or you don't have something to post for that day. And aside from just bringing in new clients and having a lot of content to post, it's also the best practice. So when these models come in, for me, I have total creative freedom. So what that means is these models sign up, they come in, and I do give them a little bit of choice here and there, like, hey, this is what I'm thinking. Are you okay with that? Or if there's, like, if I know I want to do some rainbow stuff, but I don't have a certain base color in mind, I'll give them the choice, like, hey, do you want to be purple or blue today? Like, you go for it, you pick. But for the most part, I do have total creative control. So what that means for me is if there's a new technique that I've either seen or that I've just thought of that I want to try out, my models are going to be my guinea pigs for it. So it's the best because I don't have to try out a new technique on a client that's actually paying me real money. My models only pay for cost of product. So I can have them come in and they can just totally be my guinea pigs. So they don't have a say. I get to try out whatever I want. And it's just such good practice to be able to either learn these new techniques or just practice old techniques and try to improve. And you don't have to worry so much about if it looks good or not. Like, obviously we want it to look good, but if it turns out looking horrible, they can't really say anything because they're a model. So there's a ton of benefits to bringing in models into your salon. And so now that we've talked about kind of the ways it can improve you as a business owner, let's start diving into how I actually use these models in my salon. So right now I have 4 different models, 4 different live models. And what I do is I keep them on rotation. So what that means is one will come in and they all pay $50 even. And what that includes for me, and this will vary based on your cost of product, or you can just do $50. I found that covers my product cost all the way across the board, and that's factoring in if I'm pre-lightening them, whatever deposit colors I'm doing, whatever styling products, shampoos, Olaplex, if they need a conditioning treatment. I normally do free haircuts on them as well. Like, my models get the hookup for $50. And it makes their hair feel and look amazing because they do get all of these services, but I'm only charging them the bare minimum just to make sure that I can do absolutely everything to have their hair looking and feeling the best it can possibly look and feel, so it looks as amazing in these photos as I need it to without having to worry about if I'm going in the hole. So each of my models pays me $50 every time they come in. And what I have set up is they come in on different time frames. So I don't have like a model day where they all come in at once. They kind of are spaced out a little bit. So I'll have one girl come in, we'll do her her root retouch, and then we'll do some rainbows on her and she'll leave. And then maybe the next week or 2 weeks from there, I'll have another girl whose color is faded and she'll come in and we'll do her color. And then 2 weeks away, another girl will come back in. So it keeps working on a rotation where they're not all on top of each other. They're a little spaced out, and they just let me know when their color fades. So model number 1, I won't see her for 6 weeks. In those 6 weeks, I'll see models 2, 3, and 4. And then by the time I finish with model 4, model 1's color is faded. So she's ready for a new color or she needs her retouch done. So that way I always have a model coming in every week to 2 weeks. So that makes sure that I do have tons of content all the time. I always have something to post, and I always have some time to let out these creative urges that I feel. There's always someone like right around the corner who's ready for me to try my newest thing on. So that time frame is what is working best for me. I love having them on a rotation like that. And I have been fortunate enough to find 4 models that I absolutely love. One of the key things that we'll talk about in a second is when you're finding your models. And the biggest thing for me is making sure that you really, really get along with your models. Because if you have this similar kind of setup going, you're going to be spending a lot of time with these girls. So you want to make sure that they're fun people that you can get along with, and you definitely don't want to dread when they come in, because these are supposed to be really fun appointments for you and for your models as well. So that's kind of the setup that I have going on, and that works really well for me. So I found all of my models through, actually, before we get going, hey Jen, thanks for watching. Any of you guys that are watching right now, or even if you're watching this on the replay, are you guys doing model calls in your salon right now? Or like, what does your setup look like? Or is this something that you've ever considered doing? So I found all of my models all through social media, and I found them through Facebook or Instagram. And before you say like, oh yeah, obviously you found them through Facebook or Instagram, my Instagram models I found through stories. So I recommend trying out the stories over a post, because I feel like a higher volume of people see your stories. It takes a little bit of extra work for someone to just land on your Instagram page. But your stories, since they pop up right at the top of Instagram, it's a little bit easier for a wider audience to just flow through your stories. So you'll have a little bit more of an opportunity for someone to land on that. So I found the model through making a post in my Instagram stories. My other models actually came from moms groups on Facebook. So this is going to vary a little bit based on what you're looking for in your models. So my models, I want them to be kind of in the age range that they will actually let me do rainbow hair on them. So the moms groups are perfect for me, because it has girls as young as 20 up to like 40, 50, 60, and probably even beyond that. So that's where I found a lot of mine. And it's super simple for me. I just make one post, and I always get the hugest turnout from the simple post that I make. And I'll break down exactly what I say in these posts in just a second. But it gets to the point where I have to either go back and delete the post or turn off comments or something, because I get such a huge response from it. So I think if you try these 2 places, your Instagram stories and moms groups on Facebook. If you are not familiar with moms groups, if you're not a mom, they'll still let you in, and they're pretty simple to find. So you'll just want to type on Facebook in the search bar your city, and normally it's like moms or parents or something like that. So mine, for instance, is called Boca Raton Moms Connect. And then there's seriously like 6 other groups for surrounding cities like that. So it should be pretty simple for you to find a moms group or something similar on Facebook to make this post in. So when I make the post, the first thing I always do is find a photo, either something, if there's a certain technique in mind that I want to try out on the model, I'll find a photo of that technique and use that on the post. If I know it's just a girl that I want to find to let me do vibrant hair color on, I'll take some photos either of vibrant hair colors that I've done or find some on Instagram that I would like to recreate and use those on my post. So that way they can get a visual of kind of what I'm going for and what I want to use them for as a model. So the first thing that I'll say is looking for hair model, and then I'll post the photo. Under the hair model portion, I'll go ahead and mention that as the hair model, they will only be paying for cost of product, which is usually around $50. And I go ahead and let them know the base price about what they can expect to pay. So that way, if someone doesn't even want to pay the $50, they're not wasting my time, because $50 is totally a steal for what I use these models for. So if someone is not willing to even pay the $50, I don't even want to deal with you. So I say looking for hair model. Under that, I'll say model will only pay for cost of product, in parentheses, usually around $50. And then under that, I'll close the parentheses and go down to the next line and say to qualify, and then I'll do the little 2 dots. And under that, I have a list of qualifications that if you do not meet these, then we are not going to work together. It's not going to work out for you to be my hair model. So these, again, are going to be based on what you want your model for. Excuse me. So if you're wanting to try like blonding or balayage or something, you may not want a blonde model. You may want someone a little bit darker. So make sure that you're using what I say as guidelines and kind of customizing them to fit your needs. So the requirements that my models need to fit is, 1, they have to have light brown or blonde hair. And that's because I do use my models as vibrant hair models. So they have to be blonde before I can do these vibrant hair colors on them. So if their hair is dark brown, black, red, I'm not going to turn them into a corrective color. I want someone that I can easily get to blonde. So if you're anything darker than that, I'm not going to take the time to fight with their hair to use them as a model. I want someone whose hair will lift quick and easy so I can quickly get them to blonde and then get down to the real task of painting rainbows on their hair. So that's number 1 for me, is they must have light brown or blonde hair. Second, if there's a length that you need for their hair to be, I'll go ahead and put that in there. And I kind of switch this one up just depending on if there is a certain technique that I want to go for. A lot of times I'll ask for shoulder length or longer. But sometimes if I'm just looking for someone new and fun and I don't really have a length preference, I'll go ahead and put any length hair is okay. So again, that'll kind of depend on what you need your model for, and what end look that you're going for. So make sure that you kind of have a vision in mind when you start looking for your model, because that'll make it so much easier when people start reaching out, asking if they fit, for you to have an idea in mind of knowing if they're the right model for you or not. Number 3, and this is going to be a must for everyone, is your model has to be comfortable in front of a camera. This has happened to me before when I was first playing around with the idea of working with models. I brought in a random girl from Facebook, and she was super nice and she was fine and her hair did good and her hair looked good. But at the end of the session, when I went to get her photos, she was so awkward and she did not photograph well. And that is not me being mean. Like, she wasn't an ugly girl or anything like that. I'm not saying that. But if someone does not photograph well, or if their hair does not photograph well, you've wasted all of this time and you haven't made any money. To me, I don't mind not making the money on a model call, because I get something more valuable than the $300 is I get all of this content for my social media. So for me, that is more valuable than doing the service. But if you don't get that content, if you don't get any good photos or videos out of it, it's been a total bust for you. It is a waste. So you need to make sure that your model will feel comfortable in front of the camera. They don't have to be a professional model by any means, nothing like that. But you just want to make sure that they are at least directable, or at least that being in front of a camera is not going to completely terrify them, because it makes it so much harder. And number 4, and this is going to be a must for everyone too, is your model has to allow you full creative freedom. And luckily, I've never been put in this position, but I did have a girl almost try to bully me into being a model, but she wanted a specific thing. So I always put my prospective models through a little bit of an interview on Facebook or Instagram or whatever platform we've connected on. And I'll start asking them, like, would you be okay with this? Is there anything you're not okay with? Blah, blah, blah. And I had one girl that was like, no, I don't want any yellows. I don't want any greens. How about this? And then she started sending me photos of things that she wanted her hair to look like. And like I said earlier, I do let my models have a little bit of input here and there, but if I'm trying to get a certain look and you're not on board with it, then you're not the right model for me. So that is always you have to 100% give me creative freedom when you come in, like hands down. I'm not doing all of this to not get the content that I want. And then after I go through all those requirements, then at the very bottom, I say, if you meet these requirements, please private message me a photo of your current hair color with no filters. And then if someone, and I can't even tell you how many times this happens, if someone does not follow that one rule down there, if they comment a photo of their hair, if they send me a photo with Snapchat filters all over it, if they message me and say, hey, I want to be your model, but don't send the photo, they're out. And I can be that hard with it because you will get such a huge response from making these posts. So to me, if you can't follow the one direction that I give you, then we're obviously just not going to be a good fit. I don't have the patience to deal with you, and that is going to be that. So I only will respond to the people that send me the photo of their hair with no filters. You have to follow my directions. You have to listen to the 4 requirements that I give you, or it's just not going to work. And especially for what you are giving them, like amazing hair at such a steep discount, they need to be able to listen to your direction for sure. So that's where I always go with it. And this has turned my Instagram around. I started doing model calls about probably like 2 years ago. And I started them when I first moved to Florida because I was new here. I had a little more free time and I just needed the content for my social media. So I started doing them then. And I was very skeptical about it at first because I had always heard, don't do discounted hair, don't give away free hair, blah, 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 blah. And I was terrified for some reason, but that was always just what had been drilled into my head. So I felt very skeptical at first, but after I brought in my first model, it was such a game changer. I had the best time. I came out feeling so fulfilled and so in love with my industry and my craft again because I was able to just let my creativity flow and not have to worry about making it look like a photo or whatever. I got that total creative control. And then after, I had so many wonderful photos to post. And that brings something else up while I'm talking about it too. While your models are in your salon, make sure that you get all the content that you're going to need. So my models know they're going to hang out with me for probably like 4 to 5 hours just to get their hair done. And from there, they're not done as soon as their hair is done. They're going to hang out with me while I take photos of their hair straight. Then we're going to go back to my chair. I'm going to curl it. And then we're going to take photos of their hair curly. And then they're going to come back to my chair. And if I feel in the mood to do an up style that day, we're going to do an up style and I'm going to take photos of it. And the whole time this is happening, my camera's in the corner rolling because it's going to be a whole YouTube tutorial. And then I'm going to be getting stories on my Instagram, and I'm into TikTok now. So I'm going to be making a TikTok too. And that is what they have to do to get this model $50 hair, is to let me make content to my little heart's content, because that's what they're there for is to help you build and create this content for your social media. So don't feel guilty. I know a lot of times stylists feel kind of like weird and icky about making their clients hang out after they finish their service to take some photos. And for one, never feel guilty about taking photos of your client's hair, but two, especially not when they're a model, because that is their purpose. So my models, they know, they're ready for it. And it's even to the point now that they're so hyped for it, they'll even come in with their own props. They'll have like costume changes or little headbands or whatever. And we'll even go like off location. So we'll go out of my suite and we'll go to like, well, before we were quarantined, we would go to like Michael's, the craft store, or just outside or around my building or whatever, just shooting with different backgrounds and different scenery, just so I can stretch that one hair color as far as possible and have the absolute most content to post for weeks and weeks and weeks after. So that was a lot of information. Do you guys have questions at all about what we talked about? Do you think doing a model call once all of this home time blows over is something that you would be interested in trying? Or what are you guys thinking? Even if you guys watch this on the replay, definitely let me know what you think. And if you are planning on bringing in models, now is an awesome time to go ahead and put that out there, because everyone's a little broke right now. So if they see the opportunity to get $50 hair or discounted hair at all, whatever price you decide to go with, they are going to jump on it. So if you put out any of these posts, you guys are going to get a huge turnout from that. Just make sure that you stick to your guns and don't agree to bring in a model if you don't feel like they're going to be a good fit, or if they don't have the best starting point for you to work with. So what that means is if you want a model for rainbow hair, don't bring in a girl with black hair, because it's not going to look how you want it to look, and it's just not going to be perfect. And that's what you want, is to get these perfect photos and videos for your social media out of this. So that is all I had for you guys today. If you guys have any questions, you can always leave a comment. Feel free to shoot me a message, anything like that. If there's anything that you guys want to go over in the next week's lives. Oh, one thing too, we are going to switch our lives to Wednesdays at 6 p.m. And I know I keep switching it around on you guys, but my life is like this all the time right now. And my daughter has started her dance classes back up through Zoom, and they've just shifted those to Tuesday nights. So we will be doing our lives on Wednesdays now, so she can still take her very important ballet lessons. So I'll catch you guys next Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern. If there's anything you want to go over, you can always shoot me a message, let me know, give me ideas, and I cannot wait to hang out with you guys next week. Don't forget, all of the courses on hairbykate.com are 30% off right now with promo code COVID. So if you want to take advantage of this free time and learn something new to help build your business, definitely check those out. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next week. Bye.